Hi everyone, my name is Marcia Berry. We're going to learn about knives today. Welcome to my New York City kitchen. If you think you have a small kitchen, look at mine. If I can cook in a small kitchen like this, I've got the classic view out the window of the apartment across the street. Very little space. All I have to do is turn around here, turn around there, and I don't even have to move around. If I can cook in such a small space, you can too. Today we're going to learn about knives. I have several knives for you to look at, and we're going to learn how to sharpen a knife. This particular knife is a vegetable knife. It's shaped more like a rectangle, and this is a very special knife because it has some special features. When you buy a knife, if you buy carbon steel, that kind of edge is very easy to sharpen. And the reason why is because it's soft. So it's a little bit more vulnerable to nicks. And the other thing about carbon steel is it can rust very easily, and also it can discolor the food. So if you cut a apple or a potato or certain other vegetables, they're very prone to browning, and a carbon steel blade will make that even more pronounced. Sweet potatoes is another one. On the other hand, a stainless steel knife, I have a stainless steel knife here. This is the opposite. It's very hard, which makes it extremely difficult to sharpen. So it's quite a chore to sharpen, but once you sharpen it, the edge will last a long time, and it doesn't interact easily with acid or other elements in your fruits and vegetables that may cause them to brown. So this is stainless. Now, the ones that are shaped more like a very long triangle with a point, these are more French knives. They're more for cutting meat and for stabbing things. And I use this is a vegetable knife. I use this one because I'm much more on the vegetarian side, more of a plant-based diet. The difference is with a French knife, not only can you use the point to stab things, but it has a curved edge, so as you cut, people use a more rocking motion. Whereas with this more squared off knife, you tend to use more of a circular or spiral motion. So we're going to learn how to sharpen the knife today. What makes this particular knife special, I started to tell you, and then I talked about the shape instead, but what makes this knife special is it's both stainless and carbon. This particular one is made by NHS. It's a Japanese brand. It's a great brand because it has a sheath of stainless steel, so you have the strength of stainless, and when you cut your fruits and vegetables, it doesn't discolor, and yet the actual little bit of an edge is carbon steel, so it's much easier to sharpen. This is how you do it. You take a whetstone, and some whetstones are for use with dry, just in the air, and others are for wet, so you have to soak them a bit first. And you'll see when you first put it in the water, I have just a loaf pan here, like if I were baking bread, and it fits my whetstone very easily. It has some water in there, and when you first put it in, you'll see all kinds of bubbles come up. There are also two sides to this whetstone. One is very smooth and one is more rough. This rough side is for the beginning of sharpening, like if you're filing your nails. If you're a woman and file your nails, you use the rough part of the emery board first to do the big work, the bulk of the work, and then you use the smooth side for finishing. So we're going to start with the rough side up, and I'm going to pause for a minute to tilt the camera down so you can see my hands more than my face. All right, now you can't really see my face so much, but you'll see what's going on. I'm going to add a little bit more water, and I like to put a little towel. This particular towel, it's like a little hand towel. It's a sports towel that my son got from the Columbia Lions for, you know, the towels they swing around in the basketball games, but it works great for this. So use whatever you have around your kitchen. You don't have to buy fancy equipment or special things. Then to sharpen, you lay the blade flat on the stone, and with not very much pressure, mostly just the pressure of your hand and a little extra light pressure, you go in one direction only. And you always sharpen one side of the knife only. You never sharpen the other side then. Only one side. So you choose in the beginning when you first buy your knife. If you're a lefty, like my son, you might want to sharpen this side. But I'm a righty, so I sharpen this side. So you just do this Very easy. And you keep doing that for a while. And I usually do, if my knife is very dull, I might do 100 passes. If my knife is not too dull, I do maybe 50. And if it just needs a little bit of tweaking, maybe only 25. So the way you tell how it's going is you just feel. And if you just lightly brush your thumb across the blade, you can feel the sharpness. And you can also try cutting something like a scallion. So this is not quite sharp yet. And because it curves at the end, I'm also doing a little bit of extra on that end. Now, another way you can tell a good quality knife is a couple of ways. One of them is that there will be a guard at the end that protects your hand from the blade. So for example, this knife has a guard. The blade doesn't go right down. Oh, you can't see. The blade doesn't go right down to where your hand is, the handle, whereas this is a cheap knife and the blade goes right there. So potentially you could cut yourself. I've never cut myself on this knife. It's really small and easy to use, but the better quality knives have a guard there. And then the other way you can tell a good quality knife, once again, this is a good quality knife, is the blade. You can see in the handle, oh, the blade goes all the way through the handle. It runs the entire length of the knife. So that's a good quality knife. This particular one is Sabatier, French. So we're going to sharpen this a little bit more. Now, how many times a week or how often should you sharpen your knife? That depends. It depends on how much you cook. It depends on how well you sharpen your knife to begin with. But another big factor is how you use your knife. So in my house, I'm not the only one that cooks. We have other cooks. And some of us are more gentle with the knife and more aware of trying to keep the knife sharp as we cook than others of us. We will not name names, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to bang the knife unnecessarily on the cutting board, and you don't want to use the blade for scraping up your cut vegetables. That'll just dull the knife. So instead, you can just gather it up with your hands, or you can use the dull side of the knife to gather up the cut vegetables. So we're going to just finish off sharpening this for one more moment. Because I'm going to give a cooking class next and I want it to be nice and sharp. So now I'm going to feel again, and it feels much sharper now. So I'm going to finish it off. I'm going to start by re-wetting my whetstone and using the smooth side to just finish it off. Now as you finish it off, the angle of your knife to the whetstone is very low. You don't have a sharp angle like that, or that would take the edge off. But as you're finishing, you raise the angle just a little bit, and for maybe 10 or 15 passes, you sharpen it with that increased angle, and that gives an even sharper edge to the blade. So now we're going to test it. It feels really good, and we're finished sharpening our knife. Good luck with your knife, and I'll see you again soon for a cooking class where we use our knives.